Constitution would be. I am going to, as I think we should, start first with the beginning and ask Wade Dahood to talk a little bit about why, if there is a Bill of Rights under the federal Constitution, which grants to all of us as Montana citizens rights, why is there a need in a state constitution for a Bill of Rights? And how did you approach that deliberation in your committee?
Madam Moderator, thank you very much. I certainly want to extend my compliments to Ken Egan for the superlative effort that has brought us all together. I thought our Democratic candidate for governor made a statement that to me was extremely relevant with respect to the philosophy that underlies our Constitution. This week, Time magazine, on its cover, has the title, "The Most Exclusive Club in the World." It talks about the 4 living ex-presidents and the contemporary president, and they have a house in Washington, D.C. of 4 stories where they meet on occasion, and it truly is the most exclusive club in the world. We have an exclusive club in Montana. In 1972, the people of this state elected 100 delegates. We're 40 years from that great political event, which I think historians and legal scholars would conclude is probably the most important political event of the 20th century. Today, on this wonderful day of April, the 100 delegates now number 32. Bob Campbell, who was on our Bill of Rights Committee and who insisted that the right of privacy be defined in our Bill of Rights, has been the Secretary-Treasurer of our Montana Constitutional Society that meets each year, and in this June will meet for the 40th anniversary of our Constitution. Our Constitution was passed and the work completed on March the 24th of the year 1972. Until December of 1973, we couldn't be sure that we had a Montana Constitution. Those that were opposed to a balanced document that would serve the interests of all the people challenged the Constitution in the courts, and both the state court, the federal court, finally in December of 1973, the Supreme Court of the United States rejected the petition for certiorari, and we could then say, we have for certain a great Constitution that legal scholars have all concluded is one of the finest state constitutions that any state could have. There are a lot of fond memories. I realize that we're here together, discuss the Constitution, what the rights of the people are, how it improved the political climate for individual rights as opposed to the 1889 Constitution. But I was invited to be a speaker and to participate, and I appreciate that honor and that privilege. But I want to take time to point out that the moderator, Mae Nan Ellingson, was the youngest member of the Constitutional Convention. And whenever discussion takes place with respect to the character and the ages of our constitutional delegates, they talk about the youngest, who is Mae Nan, and they talk about the oldest, who is Lucille Spear. I was in between. They leave me out. So I don't have to disclose my age, even though 3 months ago I celebrated my 84th birthday. Mae Nan was a very profound delegate who studied each and every proposal. And on the debate floor, it was very vigorous, and as the transcripts reflect, very sharp in the analysis and logic that was involved in all the arguments. Mae Nan was right at the top. And when it was all over, a number of us, and I like to think that I was one of the chief voices that were whispering in her ear, you know, Mae Nan, you should go to law school. Mae Nan went to law school. She retired from Dorsey Whitney very recently. She's listed in the best lawyers in America, a national recognized publication, as the top lawyer in Montana in public finance. Needless to say, it's a pleasure to be on the panel with her. We have a federal constitution, and it has a Bill of Rights, and there are a lot of protections in that Constitution for all of us. Scholars have said that we have added approximately 17 additional rights in our Montana Constitution. Some question has arisen, we have a federal constitution, why did we need a Montana Constitution? Well, first of all, the Enabling Act required Montana, if it wanted to become a state, to adopt a constitution. The Constitution was adopted in 1889 and slanted in favor of those interests, the mining interests, that really and truly controlled the territory and wanted Montana to become a state. So in 1972, the challenge was, what can we do to develop a constitution that is going to provide basic protections for everyone, make society a better place for everyone, and serve the purpose of our generation at that time and all future generations to come. So we drafted a constitution. The preamble has already been read by Kim. One of the great preambles of any constitution, and one of the authors that worked so long and hard on it is Bob Campbell. Bob Campbell is the Secretary-Treasurer of our Montana Constitutional Society. I dare say without him, I don't know that we would have regular meetings. He's on the phones all the time, writing letters, insisting that we understand that we serve Montana, that we're not forgotten, that we've got to keep reminding people what a great Constitution we have. And we're all indebted to Bob Campbell, who served so ably at the Constitution, serves us so ably now, is a pharmacist and a lawyer, now retired. Bob, stand up and let the people acknowledge your name. I'm pleased to be on this panel with my distinguished panelists. They've been introduced. The ACLU has meant a great deal to us in protecting rights. Justice Nelson of our Montana Supreme Court, and I've been a lawyer for 60 years, has been the constitutional scholar that's recognized by everyone. When constitutional issues arise, his writings and his decisions with respect to the Constitution, respect the concept that's within that document, and his arguments in writing are both eloquent and persuasive. We have 14 articles in our Constitution. The first article is called Compact with the United States. We were compelled to have it. We have to concede that the federal government does have control of federal lands in Montana. The federal government also reserves the right with respect to Indians and Indian lands. The second article is the Declaration of Rights. The Declaration of Rights has 35 sections. It provides for all of us that heritage of peace and security and liberty that we all enjoy as Americans. Our Declaration of Rights went beyond the Bill of Rights of our federal Constitution and added sections that made justice in Montana much more balanced for everyone. I'm going to very briefly refer to those particular sections, and I'm sure that in the course of discussion there will be comment with respect to one or more of those sections. In Section 3, under inalienable rights, we placed within that particular protection the guarantee of a clean and healthful environment. That was determined on the debate floor. When our committee reported our Bill of Rights, Article 2, we did not have that provision within Section 3, but we were satisfied from the debates that it should be there, although it's also contained in Article 9 on the environmental and natural resources of Montana. Section 8, 9, and 10 were new to the constitutional law of Montana. Section 8 provided for the right of participation for every citizen. If government is going to meet, whether it's a city, county, or state, or some department, to make some decisions that affect us all, the citizens have a right to participate. Section 9 stated that there shall not be any secret type of activity by the government, our government. We have a right to know what is being done with respect to all of our rights, and so we have a right to know exactly what's going on, to see the documents that involve that particular political issue. The right of privacy, even though I argued with Delegate Campbell, I really don't think we need it. Back in 1890, two justices of the United States Supreme Court wrote an article that was published in the leading law reviews that our federal Constitution inherently has a right of privacy. Bob says, I think it's absolutely necessary that we have the right of privacy spelled out so that there won't be any question about it. I tried to say, Bob, we have several Montana Supreme Court decisions that refer to a right of privacy.